and I did my thematic unit on natural disasters and their impacts on ecosystems. I thought this was really cool because I originally went into college to be an ornithologist. I love studying birds, love learning about them, and I thought it'd be really cool just to make a thematic unit on how wildlife is affected by hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, all that kind of stuff. Especially since we live in East Texas, where we do get a lot of rain and a lot of crazy weather that happens. So my first was the thematic summary that I did, and I said that they occur everywhere on Earth, producing winds, floods, wildfires, eruptions, and there's several different ones that can impact wildlife like this. A lot that are on the news. If I could, I would show a presentation on news reports about all of the natural disasters that occur in our everyday life. I did a summary over the tornadoes that rip up the ground, throw debris, throw it everywhere. And hurricanes. Hurricanes are a big thing that cause a lot of impact to our ecosystems because it is high winds and flooding, whereas a tornado is just high winds in a circular motion, and sometimes they touch down and they can cause a lot of damage, but if it's just up, it's just a lot of high winds, which can disrupt birds and trees, it can disrupt squirrels, all that kind of stuff. I mean, any natural disaster is going to impact wildlife, but hurricanes, I found throughout my research, are the ones that cause the most impact to wildlife and their sanctuaries and their habitats, and they have to quickly adapt and find new sources of food, find new ways to build their homes, all that kind of stuff. And then California wildfires, I also wrote about that, how the wildfires in California have caused many people like us to lose our homes as well as wildlife. Again, bringing up birds, trees getting burned down with mothers and their hatchlings and nowhere to go for safety from other predators. And the food chains being severely impacted from these natural disasters. I'll even read a quote that I put into my presentation. According to this article, over the risk of extreme weather events to wildlife, many plants and wildlife evolved with and have adapted to dealing with large-scale disturbances. But we're beginning to see mega disturbances at levels beyond what we saw in the past, and that can take a toll. Extreme weather can kill animals directly or indirectly, like by destroying food sources, contaminating water, or altering a habitat, forcing a species to move into areas where there may be more competition, fewer resources, and a greater risk of predation. This severely impacts any sort of animal because with predators on the rise and other animals not used to these many predators, they're going to get wiped out instantly. My lesson plan, I did go over the whole journal entries talking about natural disasters. What do y'all think of that? Have y'all ever experienced one? Have you ever seen one on the news? Trying to get students to really talk about it. And then to the delivery method, making models of the disasters, showing students what it's like in person, not just on a sheet of paper, but actually making models of things, and just have them go through a web quest where they do little assignments on the internet, making little videos, stuff like that, just to really get them involved and feel like they are researching and learning something really important. And then I did go on to my unit list. So an activity over how different natural disasters occur, group projects over specific natural disasters where they get up and present their specific natural disaster to inform the rest of the class. I thought that would be really, really good to do. I remember doing that in 7th grade, not with natural disasters, but with another topic, and I thought that'd be really good to incorporate into my future classroom. Create group video over specific natural disaster. Research statistics of how deadly natural disasters can be, kind of like what you do in algebra, but with science. And a web quest over statistics of natural disasters and effects on the surrounding ecosystems, just to get them kind of knowledgeable, kind of get them into it, start looking into it and researching it. And then my activity is to create a brochure. I did do this in history, which is what made me think of it. It's a brochure, and you just start by the sections and just whatever natural disaster that student picks, they research about it, they put pictures in it, they write about it, and then they present it to the class. I thought that'd be really knowledgeable for the students to inform their other classmates, as I said earlier, with the video presentation. And that way the students are also teaching other students. Maybe so the way they teach it may be different from mine, and the students can better understand hearing from their peers instead of just me. And then my contributor I put is Rachel Carson. She worked at the U.S. Bureau of Fisheries to read scripts over the radio about the founding of natural history. She made many books over natural wildlife, especially marine life, and she stood up for public health in the ecosystems whenever the water was being polluted. She wrote a lot of books that got really famous, and they were based off her own research and experiences with it, which I found really interesting, because I did not hear about Carson until this class, and I'm really glad I did, because I feel like she would maybe be something good to introduce to my science classes, showing that women in STEM can make a big impact. She earned the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I didn't know that either. And she was revolutionary in the science world. And then my one more presentation, I did do it over birds. Like I said, I have a really big passion for birds and their impact with these natural disasters. So I did put in questions to ask back to the class. So giving them like a little quote snippet of something, talking about birds and the amount of loss to wildlife of migrating birds, and how our global warming and natural disasters that we can't control really are affecting our wildlife, and how we can help. So I had questions for the class, like, what do we think about the amounts of birds that died, and how can this affect wildlife, just to get the students to thinking, and does this loss make a difference in the ecosystem? I feel like asking these questions to students really makes them think, because I know a lot of students may, start daydreaming or not really paying attention. So I thought it'd be really cool just to, what is to say about humans would be if the cow population died off all of a sudden? What would happen then? Really start to get them to think. So my thematic unit was over natural disasters and their impact